Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Earth Twister, and today, instead of bringing you a gameplay video, I am bringing you another deck build for my limited environment draft tournament season 2. And I'm really excited about this one. So this week I'm going to be taking on En Sabah Nur in expert mode, which can be really crazy and really hard, but I think I've got a deck that's been able to manage it. I have at least won the last 2 or 3 games that I've done practice-wise, and I'm about ready to start my actual game. So I'm recording this video before I do that game to show you what deck I'm going to be using for that game. Stick around with me and just see how well that deck will work. But before we head off to play the game in a different video, here is the deck build. So right here, we've got a pretty serious Guardian build for Venom, and I actually really like it. I'm not a huge fan typically of Justice, but I've been able to keep up with the threat for the most part, and deal a decent amount of damage when it's time to get him down. So I'm able to keep up with threat to be able to manage what I need to manage while it's on the board. I can handle minions, I can handle whatever I need to while I'm building. And the other thing that I'm able to do is I'm able to keep my health up pretty easily. I can flip down, and that's where it gets kind of crazy. Like if he ends up being in Cyberpath form with that 3 scheme, I'm kind of up a creek a little bit there with him popping a scheme or something like that. But I have been able to, I've got a couple of cards in the deck that actually help with keeping up health. But a main thing that I have in here is a lot of card draw, which really works well for us going forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. You've probably already read everything that's going on it, but I'm going to go ahead and explain what I've got going on. So of course I've got Cosmo, Eros, Groot, Jack Flag, and Rocket Raccoon, all because they are Guardian traded and work well with the Nowhere support, meaning that I'm able to draw a card off of them every single time that I play them in. The other good thing about Nowhere is that it functions like Triskelion in the fact that I'm able to keep 4 allies on the table no matter what trait they are, which is super duper awesome. Cosmo is also really good. She's a cheap ally that I'm able to get in, can ping a tough off or remove a threat somewhere that I need her to. She can stick around a little bit longer than I need, or maybe not, just depending on how lucky I get with those card callouts. Eros, of course, comes in, and if there are minions in play and I've used mental resources, he can confuse them, which can be helpful for when I'm flipping down to Alter Ego. But he's also in there as a cheap ally and can do some good thwarting for me. A 2 thwart on an ally is actually pretty good. Groot, of course, is going to sit around and take hits for me, which is amazing. Helps keep my health up, allowing me to be able to use my health as a resource. Jack Flag, he's going to be doing some thwarting for us. He is really good at thwarting because he does have that 2 thwart stat there. But also when he thwarts, he gets an ammo counter that I'm then able to do 2 damage per ammo counter to an enemy, which can be very helpful as well. Rocket is also going to be helpful if I have say Shadows of the Past, call in my Enraged Symbiotes. I deal 1 damage to all of them, and then he's going to overkill them, dealing 3 extra damage to the villain, which is always good. Now, Nick Fury and Professor X are in there just because they're Nick Fury and Professor X. I mean, Nick Fury draws you 3 cards. Professor X can possibly get that confused. The main thing that I worry about with Apocalypse is I get him confused. I flip down to Alter Ego, and then he just somehow manages to flip up to giant form, loses the scheme, loses the confuse, and then schemes. That can be kind of rough, but usually I've been able to come back even from like it almost popping the final scheme. Now, of course, we've got a few things in our events to help us keep up with threat. Behind Enemy Lines is, of course, a great card for Venom that's already in his kit. It is another possible confuse if we have enough mental resources used to pay for it. And of course, you can use his health as a wild resource to help you pay and get that mental, which is pretty good. For Justice is going to be really helpful in keeping threat off of the schemes, a potential 4 threat removal, and that's just, you really can't beat that. For Justice is just a great natural card that came in the core set, and I slept on it for a little while, but it really works in a lot of Justice kits. Grasping Tendrils helped save my life a few times in the practice runs. It just cancels an activation, and if I use, I think, just physical resources to pay for it, I can get a stun. And of course, it's the same thing. If he's in giant form, I can't stun him, but I can still cancel that activation, which is great. but I just can't stun him, or if he flips into giant form, he gets rid of the stun naturally. So Haymaker, there's a little bit of a story there. I know I'm 45 cards, but because of all the card draw that I'm doing and Venom's setup ability, I need the few extra cards that I can to prevent an extra encounter card from happening. Haymaker's in there because I had One Way or Another and Waylay, and I needed something a little bit cheaper to deal some damage, but also I wasn't wanting to pull out the side schemes at all from Apocalypse. I think one time I did have One Way or Another in play, or I had One Way or Another, and it pulled out the one that would flip him into Cyberpath form if I defeated it, and the Cyberpath form ends up adding extra threat to the main, and it just would have popped the main if I defeated the side. So I was up a creek there, which was not good for me. So I took One Way or Another out because there was just other opportunities to do something else rather than play One Way or Another, and it was just a lot better to not worry about getting a side scheme that was going to work against me that I wasn't able to really deal with. So Haymaker's in there for that. Locked and Loaded it's good if you get it early and you really want a weapon upgrade, but it's more of a resource, just a one resource card in my hand most of the time. Making an entrance is fantastic because I am able to, once I get built up with the Heroic Intuition and Venom's pistols, I am able to go ahead and clear all of the threat off of the main or the side schemes that are out there in order to get an extra 2 points of health. And that is one of the cards in the deck that does help keep me healthy. It keeps me active, and it keeps me able to stay in hero form a little bit longer. Multi-talented. Now, that was one that I kind of went back and forth on. I love it in Jubilee's deck because she is almost always able to hit those resources. But it actually worked out pretty well in Venom. 9 times out of 10, I've been able to hit every single resource on there, and I've been able to get the 2 threat, the 2 damage, and the 2 health from that, which sometimes the 2 health isn't super great because I'm already super healthy, but it can also be a difference between flipping down to alter ego or staying in hero form. Run and gun, of course, part of his kit, super great if you have the ability to use your pistols as well as the multi-gun. Gives you another opportunity to do that, though it is on the pricey side, which makes it really hard to play it more than once in a round. Savage Attack is great. 5 damage for 2 cost, I believe. Let's double check on that. Yeah, 5 damage for 2 cost, and the possibility of overkill if you're doing it on a minion. So absolutely fantastic card there. Love that in his kit. Resources, of course, we're doing Energy, Genius, Strength, and the Power of Justice. We'll scroll down a little bit so you can see. There we go. Power of Justice is just really helpful in hitting kickers for justice. Mostly for that, but it also is great for helping me pay for Jack Flag, getting Eros in for 1 resource card, getting Heroic Intuition in for 1 as well. Making an entrance isn't a target for it because it is only 1 cost, so it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, the deck could deal without the Power of Justice, but it is kind of helpful also. Avengers Mansion, Helicarrier, Nowhere. We've already talked about Nowhere. Of course, Avengers Mansion's in there for the card draw, and Helicarrier's there to help me pay for things. Project Rebirth. I slept on that card when I first got Venom's kit. And that's just because I didn't realize how great card draw was until I've been playing for a while. Getting that extra card, flipping down to Alter Ego, getting that extra card whenever you can is amazing. Or being able to heal for 3. That's a recovery stat on like a lot of heroes, and being able to heal for 3 and a potential 4 if you exhaust your alter ego, you can come from the edge of losing with just one trip down. You flip down, you exhaust a heal, and then you exhaust Project Rebirth 2.0 to give you an extra 3 hit points, and you're sitting pretty. You're sitting pretty because the next turn you're able to flip back up with 7 extra health. That may have you at full health. Booster Boots I have in there. I've not ever played them, but they can be helpful if I'm not wanting to take a point of damage for something. Heroic Intuition, of course, is great because Venom only has a 1 thwart stat. Though the pistols do help with that, getting the 1 thwart stat up to 2 with Heroic Intuition is very helpful. Multi-gun is a wonderful card. You can either deal 2 damage to an enemy. You can deal 1 damage to each minion engaged with you, which I misread the first time. So my first couple of practice games, I was dealing a damage to Apocalypse. But that doesn't happen. It just goes on the minions. Or you can just deal straight 2 damage to any enemy, which can be helpful if I'm starting to ping down Apocalypse. I can get 2 damage off with the multi-gun, a few damage off with the basic, and other things going on like that, which is really great. I say I have 2 plasma pistols in here, but I'm only actually running 1 for this game. It's incredibly helpful for pinging off toughs, but nothing else. So I usually keep it in there for when Apocalypse gets a tough or Ozymandias comes in, just to be able to remove the tough, so I'm not having to worry about it too much. Of course, multi-gun can also help out with removing the tough from Ozymandias if there's other minions in play. Side holster is needed if you want to have a plasma pistol down. Otherwise, you can have all 3 of the restricted in his kit played out, just because he can control 1 additional upgrade that has the restricted keywords. Of course, Spider Sense is fantastic for getting card draw. Really, really helpful. Sometimes you can get a way to just cancel an activation from you can get the Grasping Tendrils and that card draw, which is always fantastic. It's like drawing into a backflip when you get your Spider Sense on Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's amazing. And of course, Venom pistols, they're cheap upgrades that help you get +1 when you use a basic power, which I realize is either thwart, attack, or defense. So that can always be really, really good. So he could be defending for 4, attacking for 4, or thwarting for 3, just off the base stats that he has with both the pistols out. It's really been a long time since I played Venom, and I've been having a really good time going through the practice games, and I hope that you guys will have a good time watching me play En Sabah Nur in Expert with Venom here. I'm planning to wait until Monday night to play the game, and hoping then to get everything uploaded and edited for Tuesday. Otherwise, I may get it out Wednesday or late Tuesday. It just depends. I have a new mat coming in that's going to help me be able to zoom out a little bit and it just look nicer than some of my previous videos have. So it's just going to be a little bit. I'm excited about this, guys. I hope that you are as well. Let me know what you think of the deck down in the comments below. If there's anything that you would do with my limited environment, different with this deck. All right, here we are. So this is the limited environment that I am working with. I've got Galaxy's Most Wanted, Mutant Genesis, Venom, Nebula, Nova, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jubilee, and Nightcrawler. And of course, I have access to the core set. With these 8 hero packs, of course, I also have Hercules. I forgot about that. 8 hero packs and 2 boxes. That is what I built that Venom deck with. Let me know if there's something else that y'all would do with the deck with this limited environment down in the comments below. I'd love to see if y'all have any builds of your own that you might go through with this. And that's all I got. So as always, guys, we'll see you next time. Stay twisty.